Quick cash campaigns. This is the master doc that you can pretty much make millions with, per se. We're going to walk you through some strategies here that if you start to implement, there's no reason for people to not start to buy your services. And these are really marketing strategies that you can start to get conversations with potential leads in. So there's a bunch of different strategies here. I'd like to give a shout out to Dan Harrison, a friend of mine who you'll see this is a much more revised version of the version we had before. And I love the way that he presented some of that information. So let's get into some of the quick cash campaigns. The way we always want to start is with Dan Kennedy's 9-word email with direct offers. So direct offer is always the easiest path because it's direct, as opposed to, you can touch your nose this way. Go ahead, try that. And you can also touch your nose this way. Both are touching your nose. One's direct, one's not. I always encourage people to start with the direct method. Just be bold, say the thing for what it is. And one of the easiest, most efficient direct requests that are there is the 9-word email. And so the way Dan Kennedy teaches this is quite industry standard at this point. What you're doing is you're making a very short and sweet message in this form in an email that's going to get the prospect to actually want to respond. And it's going to be very direct in terms of what it is that you're offering. An example might be, for Billy Bob, are you still looking to get more clients for your business? Madhu. Make it really easy for someone to respond to, okay? This is arguably one of the best ways to just get a conversation started. If you could do these every so often, and what it's going to do is going to spur up, again, some interest in the prospect. You can also do it in the form of a message, which is going to be on different types of platforms. There are some slight tweaks and modifications there. Think of it, again, as just a short and sweet, to the point message that's going to get the type of person that you're responding to actually want to get in conversation with you, get them to want to engage to some extent or another. So it might be a little more personal. Billy Bob, hoping all is well, my friend. Still looking to get in the best shape of your life? What you're doing here, again, is you're just making it an easy yes for them to respond, okay? Now, if you're engaging with a hotter lead, again, if you're not familiar, we have cold, warm, and hot. So cold is a cold lead, they don't know who you are. A warm lead is they have some idea who you are, they're building some trust. And hot lead is they know who you are, there's some trust, and they want what you have to give. They've already expressed some interest in some form or another. So some modification here in terms of how you might want to present yourself in one of these corresponding messages would be, hey, Billy Bob, I thought of you because I'm putting together another coaching program next month where I am going to be working with a handful of private clients one-on-one to and present your offer. I thought you might be interested because of blank. Want to work together? This is a different type of direct offer request that we can get into. Now, if you are going more of an indirect route, which you can as well, then we're looking at something along the lines of, hey, blank, I hope everything's wonderful. Hope you're splendid. Quick question for you. Do you happen to know any, insert your target audience, that are looking for, insert your payoff? We just finished a couple of case studies and got some incredible results with our people there, with our type of business. And we're looking for a good few more blanks, target audience. What you're doing here is you're actually reaching out to somebody who fits the criteria in a much more indirect way, because if they want what you have, they're going to respond, hey, wait, I don't know anyone, but I'm interested. It's a slightly more indirect way to get the conversation started. You also have limited spots posts, which is creating some type of logical scarcity, not to be mistaken with like mental scarcity mindset, just literally that there's a limit to something. And an example of what that might look like is, I'm looking for X amount of people who want X amount of payoff in X amount of days without insert the challenge or the struggle or the block. So and if you're not familiar with these little sections yet, just go to our offers where I break all this down. We have the 4 Ps, the particular person, problem, payoff, and protocol. You want to identify those. That is your whole messaging. If you could just identify those 4, you're going to be able to market yourself sustainably forever, practically. So these are a couple examples of direct message offers. Okay. Now, if you're going to get into, this is if you have a list, of course. Now, if you're going to get into starting an offer and you haven't yet sold it and you're not exactly sure what works and what doesn't work, then I'd encourage a type of approach like this through validating the offer. One example being a feedback wanted post. So this is used when you're in the process of developing a new program or service and you want feedback from your specific target audience. And with that feedback, you use that to refine and optimize your program. Usually what you're doing is you're going to go over a script, use the scripts that we have, they work, and make sure that you have your program well situated, well consolidated. And then from there, you're going to actually ask for feedback directly on the offer and the pitch itself. Again, you're just getting the conversation started here. An example might be, hey, feedback wanted, looking for some volunteers, who want a sneak peek into our new Ascend program and give some honest feedback. Link below. What you're doing here again is you're just getting the conversation started with people who are going to be interested, and then you're getting their feedback. Honestly, a lot of these are going to convert into interested prospects and sales inevitably. A couple examples of how you can work through that, as well as an email template you can even use for getting this offer out. Have fun with that. Please personalize it. I always want to remind you that if you just copy and paste everything we have here, not only is it going to feel very inauthentic to you and the person who's receiving the message, but it's not going to work. You got to make sure it's real, coming from your heart, and you got to actually be excited about it. Another approach that you can take here is the value exchange post. So this is where I would never encourage you to do this unless you're in a situation where you're just needing some lead flow. If you're getting started, you can also try this approach on. So this is used when you have a shortage of leads and want to generate more engagement and feedback from your audience. It involves offering something valuable in exchange for engagement and interaction with your content. What you're doing here is you're making a post to share it on different types of platforms, different social media, your email, etc., with the hope to get a lot of eyes on it. That's the hope here. In the comment sections of the post, you tag individuals who you believe are fit for that offer or some type in the realm of your ideal client. From there, you're drawing attention to their post, and then you want to actually get them to comment, post, and actually engage with the post itself. What you can then do is use some of the algorithm to your favor per se, because just by doing that, the algorithm is going to show those similar people who commented and engaged, show similar types of audience as well. So this is another approach that you can start to do, as well as slightly more gentle offer. I'm currently doing market research for a new program that we intend to launch later in the year, and I want to offer you an energy exchange or value trade. Again, wouldn't suggest doing this unless you're in the space where you really need some clients, but this is just a great way to feel like you can help and contribute, and then you can get in exchange something, some form of a valuable resource, be it them commenting, engaging, sharing it with people, whatever the case might be. A couple examples here that you can utilize, and just remember, please personalize these. Don't just copy and paste. They don't work if you just copy and paste. Then you have the free coaching offer. This, I go much more in depth in terms of getting your first clients. I have a whole exercise based on that you can utilize, but this is a slightly more simple approach to what that looks like, and it's really you're just offering free services in exchange for something. That could be in the form of education, or it can be in the form of a great testimonial. Like, hey, I'd like to offer you free coaching once I get you the experience itself. Would you be willing to give me a dope testimonial? Nice way to get started. A couple benefits that we have there. Some examples of what that might look like. Boom, boom, boom. Nurture and follow up. So the money is always in the nurture. If you can get people interested and then keep them coming, that's the goal. That's the goal, so that you can always have people in the pipeline that you can keep serving in your business. The approach here that we take with the nurture and the follow-up is primarily engaging people who are warm. The warmer the better, or the hotter the better. Warmer leads, and then into the colder leads. The way that you turn a cold lead into a warm lead is through the nurture process. You think of the nurture as like an incubator per se, and you put a cold lead in there, and then you let it marinate, you let it stew, and then it becomes warmer, warmer, and warmer, and eventually gets cooked. So you got the value proposition. An example of what this looks like is schedule some time every week where you're going to engage with old leads. So a dedicated time every week to engage, and make it really personal, especially if you bring up something they've spoken about. Hey, Billy Bob, hope you're well. I created a new training on X and thought of you. Did you want the link to check it out? Personalize it. Hey, I thought of you because last time we spoke, you mentioned you were struggling with blank. Or last time we spoke, you mentioned you were interested in learning more about blank. Okay? Then always hit another follow-up. Follow-ups are the best. Fall in love with follow-ups. Hey, did you get a chance to see what I sent over? Curious to hear your thoughts. Something like that. Some other examples of how you can follow up depending on people, if they've actually booked a call with you and they haven't shown, or there's a couple examples of scripts that you can start to utilize. As always, make sure you authenticate them. Use them in your own words, change and modify the verbiage so that it actually sounds like you and is from you in your mind and your voice. Some examples of how to actually do some follow-ups as well. And then we can get into referrals. So I have a whole nother section in the course based around just utilizing referrals. The simple approach to referrals is getting other humans that you have positively impacted somehow to send their people your way. You can either announce it in the form of a program, like a type of referral program where there's a kickback, where there's some reward, or you could do it more broadcasting in a way that incentivizes people. The idea here is we're really looking to incentivize someone to want to send people your way. What this is going to do is take the trust of the people you've already built that trust with, and they'll vicariously share that with people they have trust with. And in this way, the referral is just a great way to grow. Happy client introduction. What you could do is use some of these examples to get your people you've already helped, to introduce you to other interested clients that they might know, or potential clients they might know. Hey, Billy Bob, meet Madhu. He's the guy that helped me overcome blank, or learn blank, or achieve blank. The more specific, the better. Thought you two should chat, or something a little more direct. Hey, Billy Bob, meet Madhu. He's the guy who helped me achieve great things. Be specific, of course. He asked if I knew any awesome holistic healers who wanted to who were looking for help with growing their business in a conscious way. And I mentioned you might be interested in some free training. Boom. Get the conversation started. Feel free to use some of these types of prompts. We also have engaging past clients. If you've already helped them, they're going to be the most inclined to want to keep working with you, as long as you did a good job. Re-enroll some past clients. Make them an offer they can't refuse. Figure out what they need and what they're looking for help with and assistance with, and make them an offer they can't refuse. Hey, I know when we ended our last training, you were still looking to overcome blank. How is that going for you? And in this way, get the conversation started and see what you can offer to past clients to re-enroll them. Here's an example. Hey, how you been? I was thinking about you and wondering how you've been doing since we last chatted. Would love to hear how you're doing. Obviously, this is very vague. Make it much more specific, especially if you can make it relevant to them and their situation as you recall and as you remember. And if you don't remember, come on, take better notes. You also have the offer improvement and launch. What this looks like is taking what you already have that works and then adding some bells and whistles and then relaunching it, but with a new pizzazz per se, with a new particular angle that's going to incite someone to want to check out the offer, take some action, etc. One of the ways to do that is by increasing the price. Hey, I've got this amazing program. It's so great because X, Y, and Z. These are some of the results people got with it. But I will be raising my price in 2 weeks. So if you've ever wanted to work with me, now's the time. Let me know ASAP. What you're doing, again, is building healthy amounts of urgency here. So that's one approach that you can take. Another approach is to upgrade. It's like, hey, my offer is great, but now I added on X, Y, and Z, and it's so much better, and I'd like to show you what that's like. Check it out. And then there's a couple of scripts you can start to use. Now, obviously, we have a whole script section where in our conscious closing systems, all different types of scripts that you can start to use and try on for size. And again, as long as you put them in your own voice, in your own way that you would express them, you start to use them. And there's a bunch of examples here that you can start to play around with depending on who they are and where they are in terms of the pipeline. So use this quick cash campaigns. The cool thing is if you take any of them, now obviously you might not have any clients yet, so you might not be able to do the referral program or whatever the case might be, but wherever you're at, you can find a strategy and immediately start to implement it and frankly get some of the low-hanging fruit so that you can get some cash into the pipeline for your business. Have fun with this, explore this, and as always, the cash is not the main thing. The service is the main thing. But in order for you to keep serving, you got to have a little cash. So make sure that you are centered and your intention is correct and you're properly calibrated when you are offering types of services like this and when you're using these different campaigns and approaches. Have fun.